Hello everyone, this is my reaction to Zeus ISC, Alpha 3.24.2, Zeus and MFDs. Did you notice he actually changed this from Alpha 4.0 now to Alpha 3.24.2? I still wonder if you are getting a 3.25.
The Zeuses for me are probably some of the best looking ships we've ever produced for Star Citizen.
I've said this many times in the past, CRG devs sound like fashion designer. Oh, look how cool this looks. Oh, the most beautiful ships ever. How about you're looking a little bit more into functionality?
So when we release the Zeus, it comes with both the ES and the CL both together in the same patch. The ES is the exploration-focused variant of the Zeus, so it has a modest-sized cargo bay, larger hydrogen and quantum fuel tanks, a larger radar, and a more spacious living area. The CL, the cargo version, maximizes its cargo capacity. It does that by shunting the sort of central bulkhead towards the front of the ship, so that increases the cargo capacity from 32 to 128 SCU at the expense of just really cramming in the living quarters to be much more compact.
This is one ship that took an entire year to build.
Well, there's your problem. Polaris took more than 2 years, well, it's still not finished, and Zeus 1 year. I don't know how many people were working on Zeus. CRG has a backlog of concept ships that is at least 10 to 15 years long by now. And then we have a lot of ships that needs a gold standard, and CRG doesn't even have a gold standard yet. In year 12, goalpost is still moving. CRG cannot just hire more people because people cost money. With now 1,200 employees, I don't think CRG even broke even in 2023.
Initial release, there'll be 5 visual styles to the MFDs and the HUDs.
There's Aegis.
It's very militaristic and it's very sleek. Anvil is great. I love the green color of Anvil. It feels a lot more like an F-16 cockpit. Drake is my favorite. It's retro and Blade Runner and CRTs.
There's Argo.
It really feels like a piece of industrial equipment, which is what the brand is going for.
And there's the generic style that will support all the other ship manufacturers for the time being.
Okay, why do we need different MFD styles for different manufacturers? What does this even accomplish? Are we doing another fashion project? More than 10 years ago, there was a CRG video where they talked about we will be able to select our own colors, and now we are stuck with our ship manufacturer. And why is there no option to choose? Let's say I'm an RSI ship, but for whatever reason I like Aegis MFDs. Why can't I just use Aegis MFDs? Is this a design choice or is this a consequence of very bad coding?
We'll start with self-status. Self-status.
Why does my ship on self-status move? I guess because it looks cinematic, right, Chris? Can we at least fix this? I don't need to see my ship moving in self-status.
Includes all of the critical information about your ship, dependent on your current operator mode.
Okay, this is getting really silly now. Yeah, Chris likes to be a movie director. He likes cool cinematic. Why do we have this distortion effect, those running lines on our MFDs? Can we at least, please, have an option to turn it off? I don't need to see distortions on my MFDs because it's more cinematic.
So you'll have your ammo numbers in guns mode, you'll have your missile arming in missile mode, and your fuel readouts in quantum mode. There's also a unique version for turrets as well.
You will also have the emissions, so you know what missile to use against them. And you will see their names, so you know that you're not shooting the wrong person.
Weapon config is entirely new. It links into the new weapon grouping system, so it will list out every single weapon on your ship. The ammo that you have, they'll light up if they're selected.
I said this before, it feels more and more like CRG really wants a console port, have very big fonts, have very big icons, so players can read MFDs even when they are sitting on the couch. Now, what's the problem with this? You only have 4 lines for guns. Many ships have a lot more than 4 guns for the pilot, so you have to scroll. And again, can we have at least an option to use different font sizes? And I guess, nope, one size fits all.
And also it allows you to assign them to one of 4 custom groups, so you can have any combination of weapons that you want firing at the same time, and it makes it easy to see which group of weapons you're firing.
This needs some clarification. Does this mean we have now up to 4 weapon groups instead of just 2? 2 weapon groups were not enough for every ship, especially not for ships that have EMP devices. 4 weapon groups would be very nice, but I'm not sure yet if you can just easily swap between those.
Shields is pretty much the same as what it was. You can control each of your shield faces if you have 4 shield faces. If you have 1, you can control the whole thing. And it gives you a reset button, so you can set it all back to default, and also you can see your total shield usage out of the maximum. Scanning's been moved from the HUD to an MFD state.
I'm not a fan because scanning gives you lots of information that just doesn't fit onto one MFD screen. And again, why don't we have options? Some people might not use scanning very often, so it's fine if they have scanning on MFD. Other people might use scanning very often, so they need all the information on their HUD. Please, give us options. Don't shove things down our throats. And here CRT actually shows the new scanning MFD. Yes, you have to scroll down. Why is there no one working for CRT who has a good understanding of a user-friendly UI? Chris, CRT, do you understand the difference between having all information on the HUD at one glance and having information on your MFD where you have to scroll down? Especially bad if you are in the middle of a fight.
The new screens, the biggest one is power management.
Engines on.
It's a simplified version of what you'll find on an engineering terminal.
Please tell me there's a hotkey for this. Please tell me I don't have to click onto MFD and have to use my mouse to select power levels, please.
This is also where you will see your emissions. So if you're doing anything stealthy, you go into power management, you set your settings to low, and you will see your emissions adjust accordingly.
Okay, again, is there no one working at CRT who has a good idea to make a user-friendly UI? So if I want to change my emissions, I have to click into MFD, then I have to use my mouse to scroll to the left side, and then I have to click on boxes to change my emissions. Are you serious, CRT? I hope there are hotkeys for this, but this is CRT giving us one of the worst UIs in history of gaming with 3.23 and Iron Man UI, so I don't have my hopes up.
It will show you where that component is taken, as well as its current health and its status, whether it has any errors, and there'll be a summary at the top of the screen that shows you how many of your components have errors.
Again, force are way too big, icons are way too big, you only see 6 lines. Please, Chris, give us an option to change force size so we can see more or less if you're sitting on the couch and want to play on our console.
So this configuration screen allows you to configure a few aspects of some different MFD states, as well as what goes on your HUD and how that looks. Using the configuration screen, you can choose whether or not you're showing your MFD casts, which are simplified and more tactile versions of the self-status and target status screen.
At least in Anvil ships, CRT removed the speed ladder from the center view. It's now at the side. I am not a fan. This is very important information I need to see at one glance. My guess is Chris wants a cinematic look with very little clutter in the center, but please look at real fighter HUDs. This is a game. Important information should be easily accessible for the player. This is not a movie, Chris. And then we have this good old problem that CRT is totally unable to deal with contrast. Top left corner, you see your own ship, but over a bright background, you can hardly see anything. CRT, that is a solved problem. Long time solved.
We've decided to clear up all of the nonsense we have in the middle and kind of make it out of the way of the middle of the screen.
Do you even realize that what you call nonsense is actually very important information? Here's a real fighter HUD. And I can tell you, real fighter HUDs are not going for cinematic look. They are going for usability, something a game should always do first. But here, this is a Chris Roberts game.
It's going to be such a nice thing to just be out in space and be able to see space, right?
Please don't take this as a personal attack. I'm sure you are a nice guy. But maybe you should work on fashion design. Maybe you should work on something else. A HUD MFDs need to be functional. You have to give players information very easily accessible. But your goal seems to be, let's have a nice look outside. You don't even look at real fighter HUDs. We are in year 12, and now CIG gives us another very cinematic HUD, very cinematic MFDs that are very hard to use, and they are removing important information from the center of our screen. As said this many times before, Chris only cares about eye candy, fluff, time sinks, and cool cinematic. Functionality or user-friendliness never play a role for Chris. Thanks for watching and see you next time. Bye. Auf Wiedersehen. Hey, you're still here. You might want to join me on Twitter. My Twitter account is Camural_SC.